Hey guys, it's Cam with Hope to Canine Rescue, and I wanted to just record a quick live for you to kind of throw my hat in the ring here around this topic of adopt, don't shop. I was listening to a colleague, Canine Command, actually I highly respect the statement yesterday, I think it was yesterday or the day before, that was shared out of Canine Command with regard to just what crap this whole adopt, don't shop statement, concept, mindset is. And I really wanted to support getting more education out there. It's something that we do all the time, but around this particular topic, I've never actually talked about it publicly. And I have to say, it really stirred a lot of different conversations around for me that I've shared recently with people behind the scenes, and kind of brought things into a little bit more clarity for me about where we stand on this. So hopefully we'll have a few people to hang out and chat for a bit. I'm just waiting. Kai is breaking down some turkey legs before we go out and do a social. My dogs are just chilling here. They haven't had breakfast yet. And, really thinking through some of these things that I wanted to share with you guys. Good morning, good morning. Hey, Ryan. Hey, Allie. Sean's here, Meredith. Great to see you guys. So number one, at Hope to Canine Rescue, and the mission behind why I founded this organization is for education, not to save all the dogs. Because I do not believe it is possible to save all the dogs. I really don't. And I don't believe it's possible to save all the dogs until we fix all the people. So we're never going to fix all the people. We're always going to have a people problem, which means I don't live my life carrying this, suit of armor about how disappointed I am in mankind, and how if I never if I ever sleep, for example, that dogs die. Like, I just don't live with that on any level. I believe that we're always going to have this issue because we are always going to be up against the human condition. And that fundamentally, the unwanted dog problem is a human problem. It is a people problem. So what we stand for here at the rescue and through our training company is to educate and empower owners to see how they can resolve and manage behavior issues in their dogs, and in turn learn how to resolve and manage behavior issues in themselves. That when you stay the course with a difficult dog, you learn about you. You get to come to terms with things about yourself that are patterns and habits that affect every area of your life. Your dog is just representative of how you do one thing in every aspect of your process. When you stay the course and you work through that stuff and you stay committed to your dog, you have the opportunity to learn to overhaul that process and stop doing that thing throughout your life. So examples of that are constantly recurring are people who are anxious, insecure, neurotic, emotional, overly sensitive, folks that are, filling their plates really full to bury the things that they don't want to feel, but then in turn they're kicking up this cycle of overwhelm, burnout. They are, generally folks that kind of blow their top more easily. They don't have patience. They're not seeing big picture. And then another theme that's really common is that we see people get certain dogs because inherently the human being is not solid in boundaries. They don't have good leadership skills. So the dog comes into their life with reactivity, with aggression, with insecurity, and it's telling that owner that they need to step up. They need to become a better leader. They need to act with more conviction. They need to let go of perfection. These are all themes that are constant every single day in the work that we do. We see the same kind of scenarios come up. Good morning. Hey, everybody. We see the same kind of scenarios come up where individuals come to us and they say, my dog does this and it's a problem for me. And we go, okay, let's look at you. What do you do? What is your mentality? What is your attitude and intention? What is your process in your life? Where else are you a doormat? Where else do you struggle with boundaries? Where else do you not speak the truth of who you are? This is the work that we do every day. So I just want to give you a little bit of context in order to walk you through why adopt, don't shop is such a load of crap. And why I support this sentiment, that my colleagues have shared on a small scale that we really need to be talking about massively throughout the industry. Because the reality is that folks that come to us to adopt are shopping, and we're shopping for them. We're shopping for whether or not they're the right owner to handle the seconds of the dogs that we get, right? The dogs that come into rescue, come into shelters, they were dumped, they were discarded for a reason. Whether because somebody didn't intentionally, set out to breed them to begin with, and therefore spay, neuter, manage, be responsible about their own dogs that produced the offspring, or they're dumped because they have behavioral problems that were not wanted by that owner, handler, steward, and now you're inheriting those problems that have compounded. There's interest collected on somebody not addressing those behavior imbalances or those behavior issues from the beginning, and the dog now typically has habitual behavior. It is more solidified in the dog that this is how I should do things because nobody's told me differently, or it's worked for me. It's usually the two kind of main things that happen. Or there is cognitive compromise. The dog wasn't developed properly, so now it struggles to learn properly, or it struggles to change in an expedited manner. It is absolutely about shopping when you're looking to either buy from a responsible, ethical breeder or adopt a dog. And we as organizations should be shopping those adopters. Now, that doesn't mean that we should make it so bloody difficult for somebody to adopt a dog that we're not actually helping to, promote the ability to find a secondhand dog that's awesome, that has great qualities to it. Bosley was a puppy that I adopted, and he's awesome. He's amazing. But you know what else he is? Genetically shit. Absolutely genetically shit. 2 of his sisters died before the age of 2. It is so unfair to push this idea that everybody should adopt a dog, when the reality is down the line, that can be very expensive, much more expensive or equally expensive to buying a high quality puppy that has been sourced from a really responsible breeder who's breeding for health, soundness of health and soundness of temperament. All right, it's just ridiculous. You can pay now or you can pay later. When it comes to genetics and health, you're not guaranteed anything with these secondhand dogs. Nothing. You have to be prepared for a lot of stuff to come up that you're going to need to still invest in training, and that you're going to potentially need to invest a lot more in health and wellness and nutrition prevention practices for what might come up on the genetic side. So it's super, super hypocritical to say, rescue a dog and don't support, a breeder, and it's so much less expensive. No, it's not. No, it's not. And even when we train the dog for you and give it some foundation or address the secondhand nature of the dog, the fact that dog has bad habits, bad patterns, lack of foundation, that's really what we do here. And I think we're going to take rehab out of the title. I think we haven't used that term. I haven't hashtagged that term. I haven't quoted that term in so long because it doesn't sit right with me. We don't rehab dogs. We semi-adjust dogs to fix the fact that they're really unappealing to people so that they can have a fucking chance at being appealing to the right person. That's really what we do here. That's what we do. You can't rehab dogs when you're bringing them out of some of the stuff that we see, and then you're trying to find a human being who has issues themselves, who is thinking they're getting a cuddly, fun companion to hang out with, and has the equal potential to ruin that dog. We're not really rehabilitating. We are here to educate humans about what dogs actually need and to educate humans about their ability to problem solve. We want dogs to stay in their homes. The dogs that come into the program that we commit to giving a chance are not being rehabilitated. They're being shown a different way to move through the world when human beings let them down. That's what we're doing. That's the reality. It's not rehab. And the same is true with the owners that we work with. We're not rehabilitating you. We're helping you to have a different perspective about how you got where you are and how you can get where you're going. Whatever you want to call that, people, development, I think is a better term probably. That's what we do. And it's why we're so highly committed to education. It's why we invest in a full-time trainer, because we've got to have somebody available to consult with owners who are falling apart and calling us and saying, you got to take my dog. You got to take my dog. I can't keep this dog. This dog is a disaster. I thought I could do it. I can't do it. And this is where we find our best work takes place, in the accountability that we share with owners to say, look, you created this problem. You did. You said yes to that dog 6 months, 6 years ago. You lived with that dog in this dynamic, not giving it boundaries, not teaching it rules and structure, not correcting it when it did things that it cannot continue to do into its adult life. You created this problem when you got that dog because you were in an emotionally weak place, and you wanted something to fill a void. You wanted to add something to your life that would distract you from the feelings that you felt deep inside. You did that. Now you can undo that, okay? It's really, really important that you guys understand that this whole concept of adopt, don't shop, it's not real. It's like pure positive. Pure positive isn't a thing. It's impossible. You can't purely positive, force-free train a dog. And you can't adopt without shopping. Shop your ever-living ass off and ask the questions that I posed in this thread, in the description. Ask the questions of yourself. Are you in a right place to bring a secondhand dog into your life? It's no different than a used car. That's such a great analogy. I think that's exactly what he said, in talking Canine Command commentaries about this, because can we all afford to fix a beater like 11 billion times over? I never want to buy a secondhand car ever again. I don't know about you, but I lived that life. I don't want to go there again. It sucked. It sucked so much to be broken down on the side of the road or getting another surprise bill for $1,000. I have zero judgment for people who are buying new, nice cars because I get it. It sucks to live with a secondhand car and to be dealing with the unpredictable nature of breaking down engines, right? My experience with Toyotas over the years is hilarious because I've had so many lemons that I almost didn't get another one, but the one I have is brand new because you bet your bottom dollar I'm at least gonna get it with a warranty. It's the dog thing is very similar, right? If you source from a responsible breeder, and mind you people, there are not a lot of them. They're out there, but there are not a lot of them. You have to exercise massive patience to support a good breeder. You have to be willing to do a lot of digging and a lot of research, and you have to be willing to travel in many cases. Go to them. You gotta go to them, okay? If you are trying to get a dog fast and cheap and easy, guess what you're gonna get out of that scenario in most cases? Problems. You're going to get less warranty, less quality, less reliability of genetics, behavior, right? Health. I love this dog to death and I would never go back and change getting him, but he's genetically shit. And right now he's costing me a fortune to try to deal with skin and digestive stuff and you name it. I'm thankful that I can do that. That is real rescue in my opinion when we serve the dog that needs us, right? So I've had this conversation with so many people who've come to adopt from me and they're attracted to one dog, but the reality is when we shop together about what kind of owner they are and what kind of life they have to offer, they are a better owner for a different dog. And in my opinion, when I can say to somebody, that dog really needs you and what you have to offer in its life, that's real rescue. That's real rescue, is when you walk into a scenario of offering yourself as an adopter and you are whole and healthy and you have a good head on your shoulders and you're willing to do the work and you're tenacious and you're committed and you're able to stay the course financially and you say, who needs me? Shouldn't we approach every relationship like that? Like, I'm good. Who can I support in becoming good also? It's a way better equation than I need a dog in my life. I'm gonna go get the first one I can get my hands on that's attractive and accessible to me. You can't adopt without shopping, you guys, and I wanna encourage you to look at how you shop as something that can be done with incredible responsibility, incredibly ethical, and exciting and fun consciousness. It really can. And if you're in the market for a puppy, if you have lots of time and lots of money and you know about how to train or you're committed to investing in training, have at it, folks. Get an awesome puppy from an awesome breeder and contribute to a better gene pool. Contribute to less unwanted dogs. If you have a lifestyle where you don't have that much time, you need a dog that is lower key, less energy, less training output required, and you're in a position to have some extra money to throw at maybe helping with a health overhaul, with rehabilitating a dog physically, then by all means, shop around for the right rescue dog that's gonna fit within your energetic life. And do it with a rescue that is not emotionally depraved, that believes that it is the only way to get a dog, to adopt a dog. I don't believe that. We do not believe that here at Hope 2 Canine. I believe in choosing the right dog for your lifestyle based on who you are. That's what I believe. And I believe in doing the work to become a better human being first. Then you can really help dogs. So some of these questions that I've articulated in the description are really important to me that you take into consideration in how you move forward with keeping, surrendering, acquiring a dog into your life, with assessing a rescue, with determining where your money goes to support rescues. There's this conversation I shared recently with somebody who wants to open a sanctuary, and God bless him, it's an amazing calling and desire in his life. Wants to open a sanctuary and be a receptacle for unwanted animals. But do you know what I said? I said, rescue attracts some of the most emotionally depraved human beings. It is another way to express addiction. It is another way in which to bury your unhealthy self in unhealthy distractions. And what was so cool was he was totally willing to hear that, totally willing to take responsibility for the fact that that's actually really true for him on many levels. And he slowed that train down and received that feedback and that counsel and that coaching and said, Cam, I can totally understand how that would be true. And I'm going to work really diligently to do this with a team, with people that can give me that accountability, that feedback and insight as I go along. And he allowed me to speak some truth into the fact that if you set up a sanctuary and you become a receptacle for dogs that are discarded, you also become an enabler for people who discard dogs. Do you really want to enable that in our society? If we make it harder for people to get rid of their dog, I fundamentally think we're going to see less dogs given up. But that is a much harder mission that most people aren't willing to do the work around. Because what does it mean for the rescue organization? It means they have to do the work in themselves as well. If that is our message, then it has to be our own life that we're living. My message is that we need to do the work to heal, to grow, to take responsibility for our lives, to live in integrity, to live in 100% responsibility is hard work. It's really hard work. Most people won't do it. Most people won't do it. But if that is our message, if that is our message and our mission, then it has to be the life that we live, right? And so I really encourage this individual to see that if you want me on your team, and I want to be on your team if it's a right fit. If you want me on your team, though, that's the path I'm carving. I am not about save every dog and allow every human being to have a dog. We're not in a place to do that. It's the same reason I don't have children. This is the same reason I think a lot of people shouldn't have kids. Because you're not ready. You're not ready. You've got to do the work to be healthy and whole in yourself so that when you are giving out to that experience, to that cause, you're doing it with great boundaries, with a solid head on your shoulders, with confidence and clarity about who you are and what you exist here to do. You're doing it in such a way that you can say no when it should be a no, not always yes, right? You can be realistic about what's fair and responsible to these animals, not put them in situations where they're actually abused because they don't have the structure, the rules, the boundaries, the fundamental primal and instinctual needs met. This is tough stuff, man. We really carve a different path down here in the work that we do when we prioritize education and we prioritize honesty and integrity around what does this really mean? Our dogs are absolutely imperfect. The dogs we put out of this program have a high degree of training, but they were discarded. They're secondhand. They have behavior issues. They have the potential to be absolutely impossibly difficult for an owner who isn't solid in themselves, who doesn't understand what they're getting into. The difference is that we provide a massive amount of support, a massive amount of training, and the ability for you to learn this stuff through the journey of adoption, rather than to do the alternative scenario, which is to walk into a shelter and walk out with a dog and you have no idea what you just got into. On the contrary, we're going to teach you, we're going to educate you, we're going to expose you, we're going to give the dog some skills to meet you in the middle, and then we're going to stay with you through that journey. That doesn't mean it isn't a journey. It is a journey, and our adopters who come on later will be able to validate that. It is still your journey. And if you aren't healthy, if you aren't solid in yourself, if you aren't doing the work every damn day to get down to the core of who you are and to face that thing you do to yourself all the time, you'll still struggle. You'll still struggle, and you'll still find it to be incredibly frustrating and exhausting. That's life with dogs. We're totally different species. We do not speak the same language. We need different things. All right? So step into your shopping journey with, accountability for who are you in this equation. Are you going to be as excited to continue to work with your dog in 6 years as you are right now today, going after that, acquiring that dog? Are you going to be willing to stay the course? It's a marriage, right? It's a marriage, and a lot of marriages fail, like over half. You are committing to something that's going to suck at times, be inconvenient, exhausting, not fun, expensive, ugly, right? Sickness and health. In sickness and health. Are you ready for that? You're absolutely shopping. There's no such thing. So I really appreciate my colleagues putting out their content to speak to this end. I really appreciate our industry setting a different standard for acknowledging how nonsensical some of the stuff is that goes on in rescue. You can't adopt without shopping, and you fucking should shop your pants off before you adopt. And we as rescues need to shop these applicants the way that we do, and in every way that we can, to help, just to give them information and support. Are they going to be willing to do the work and connect and communicate properly in order for this to be a really long-term right match? And there should be zero judgment for people who go to buy a brand new car or a brand new dog from a really great, reputable breeding source. And I have a couple, you guys. I have a couple people that I can direct you to who I believe are fundamentally changing the unwanted dog issue from the top down by being responsible and ethical breeders. People who breed for temperament, for health, and functionality. That's what you're looking for, all right? You're looking for a breeder who breeds for temperament. They check that dog's lineage, and they're looking at those puppies from day one. Is this a solid, sound puppy? Should this puppy really be in the gene pool? And watching that dog over the course of their life. They're breeding for health. They're looking at the genetics. Is this dog sound? Do they have any systemic disease potential? Is it showing up in the line? Do we need to end the line? Are we putting into the puppy from the beginning in order to promote that health, as in not over-vaccinating these puppies, not demanding that these dogs be spayed and neutered, period, let alone too soon? And they breed for functionality. Can this dog do what it was designed to do? Can it have a quality life? Can it work? There's a lot of dogs out there that became extremely popular for the way they look, and they're abso-fucking-lutely useless. Useless. They can't breathe. They can't move. What kind of life is that? What kind of life is that if you can't take a walk around the block? Some of these bulldogs and these designer dogs, Luca, my 12-year-old dog, I can't believe he's still alive, you guys. I cannot believe it. Can you believe it? It's shocking. Hans and we can't believe that he's still trucking, and it's only, I'm sure, because he's our dog. He's on a raw diet. He had heart surgery when he was 14 weeks old. Like, he goes to a naturopathic vet. He gets homeopathic supplements. I cannot imagine that, this would be the case with a lot of other people. The amount of money we've dumped into that rescue dog, we could have bought probably a very high-end working dog that would have lived to 15 and not been such a pain in the ass. Or a car, he says, or a car. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. There can be no judgment for people who go after a great puppy from a reputable breeder. And it sure as shit isn't coming from this rescue community. Not from our corner. Because we believe that is where an investment has been made that 9 times out of 10 is a far better guarantee of long-term commitment. If you spent thousands of dollars, you're likely to figure out how to keep that thing around. When you go to a rescue or a shelter, this is really important, you guys, and I will try to wrap up here pretty quick so this isn't too long, but this is what drives me crazy. People come to us and they want us to take their dog. They want to surrender their dog to us. And they every damn time they say, somebody else will give him a better home. Somebody else will I just really feel like he'll be able to get what he needs somewhere else. Fuck that noise. You're more likely to see that dog dead That's the reality. You are more likely that you are sentencing that rescue dog to death by dumping it, because you probably are not the first one to dump it. And I can, like every dog we have in the program right now, Archer, Darla, and Cypress, and Hudson were all pre-dumps. This is not dogs that were purchased from breeders and the owner struggled through a bunch of stuff and just couldn't do it and needed us to help them. Every dog in my program right now was previously dumped. Not just to us, dumped to a shelter, dumped to another owner, multiple owners in some cases. Dumped on the street, and now we have them. So here's the thing. The other factor for every single one of those dogs, right? Darla, Hudson, Cypress, Archer, all of them were gonna be euthanized. The rescue Archer came from before us. We're his second rescue, by the way. Organization, second organization, probably fourth, like, owner. He was rejected to go back to the rescue. Shame on you, rescue. Shame on you that you didn't stay the course and commit to that dog and support that owner and receive that problem dog back into your organization. Shame on you. You're the reason why adopt, don't shop doesn't work. You are the problem in this community. And I'm so fucking tired of seeing this shit go down. That is why we work small. It's why we only have 4 dogs in our program right now. Because I refuse to contribute to the rescue world problem by bringing a whole bunch of dogs in that we don't have the capacity to handle and pushing them out too fast and not finding the right place for them. I refuse to do it. I absolutely refuse to do it. But that is the reality of all 4 of the dogs in my program right now. They have been dumped multiple times. They were all at risk of euthanasia. Cypress was a day away from it. I think they actually stalled it for us. She was gonna be put to sleep. Hudson was sitting in a shelter as a 5-6-year-old pit bull who has an asshole attitude and who'd been a backyard dog with no in-home skills. He wasn't looking good. You have Archer, who's bitten multiple humans, including me now. He's a human biting dog. And then you've got Darla, the youthful German Shepherd with all the... Also 2 days from euthanasia in Santa Barbara. Guys, I need to rehome my dog so somebody else can give it what it needs is a crock of shit. It's a cop-out and it isn't real. You are more likely to be sentencing your dog to death. So how about we just face the human problem of the unwanted dog problem and we get help to improve our process as human beings. That's what we need to be doing. And absolutely shop before you adopt. Because not all secondhand dogs are gonna be the right project for you if you yourself have work to do in particular. Okay? This is so important, you guys. I have a couple of comments here I want to address and then I got to go outside. Serial refusing to step up and take responsibility. Yeah, that is the condition, isn't it, Linda? Totally. Alexis said that was Athena, went through 4 owners and was 2 hours from euthanasia. Yeah, I mean, the real rescue story, Alexis, is your willingness to be the owner that she needs, right? Your willingness to show up and learn, and you've done a lot of work to do that, I know. I've seen it from the outset. Tandy said, conversation I had with a GSD breeder at an AKC show that flat told me they purposefully breed the working aspect out of their dogs. Oh my God, don't even get me started on AKC. Don't even get me started on the fucking American Kennel Club. They are a huge, huge part of our problem because they support puppy mills. They support puppy mills. I shit you not. It's awful. Ryan, good to see you on. Thanks for hanging out for a minute. Alexis, at your vet office every day, it's heartbreaking. Dogs are struggling as a puppy because of overbreeding. Oh man, right? Jason, what's up, my friend? So many people do not know what they're getting into. Education is so important. You are doing a great job of that. Thank you, friend. Really proud to stand beside you in this community. Let's see, Tandy, education on what fits best with your lifestyle and family and what your desires will be for you. Yeah, it's so important. We have to be objective here. We had somebody interested in Archer. Thank you if the family is watching. We had a family interested in Archer because he's super dog social, essentially. That is his saving grace. But their lifestyle is a terrible fit for him. And they were so gracious to send an application and chat with us and see if it was a possibility to work together. But they were also really gracious in talking with Carrie Ann and understanding they are not up for that dog. They're not up for it. They want to take a really, social great, fun family dog and be able to go out in public and have people over and allow that dog to commingle. Archer can't. He can't. He has to be highly managed. He has to be, you know, respected for his now 2 years of developmental and behavioral issues that were, you know, perpetrated by who he is at the core and the environment that he's experienced over the course of that time, being bounced around and not having the stuff that he needed sooner. And so he's not a good fit for that scenario. In a home where you have a lot of socialization and people coming and going, you would have to crate him up. He loves his crate. Just crate him up. Put him away when your friends come over. They're coming for you, not your dogs, right? So we will find a right family for him, but God bless them for being honest and receptive to, this is just not, like, nobody wins in this situation. It doesn't make sense. He's not the right dog for you. He needs somebody, you know, ideally who has a desire to do sporting work, maybe get him into agility or dock diving or scent work or something like that. So he needs somebody who's interested in becoming active in that realm or who already is, because a lot of those people will have other dogs, and he absolutely wants a buddy. He could be an only dog if he regularly got together with, you know, a few of the good buddy social friends that he has in his community. So it could be somebody who doesn't have a dog at all and has a quieter lifestyle, and therefore the home dynamic works a little bit better. But we would like to see him with another dog because he really does get his information looking around at his dog pals. He gets his information from being a part of the pack. So anyway, Allie didn't know what she was getting into with Tino, and now she's going to become a better shopper in her future life, right? She got herself a biting dog. She got herself a dog that is over her dog level, that's too powerful, that she has a hard time standing up to, and she's been a journey. It's been a journey. Most people would have given up by now. So it takes a certain mindset to get into rescue successfully. It takes a certain attitude and intention to be able to stay the course with secondhand dogs. And that's why rescues are particular about who they let in. That's why rescues are, you know, many are trying to be careful about their filtering system and finding the right folks so these dogs don't get returned. Rescues who do a high rate of turnover have typically a high rate of return. When they send dogs out early, quickly, easily, they tend to get dogs back. This is why we don't do it that way. We don't want them back. It's not good for the dog, okay? And it's also because we take tough dogs. We are not a happy-go-lucky rescue who cherry picks the good ones, but those rescues also exist, and they make it really hard for you as a lay person going into a shelter to find one of these idealistic dogs that is so great just sitting in a shelter waiting to be discovered as a diamond in the rough. Kai's laughing at me. It's not real. It's not real. At the very least, you're going to get that dog home and they're going to have giardia. And what else? Their teeth are rotting out, worms, antibiotic history up the wazoo. So now their gut biome is fucked. And you got to go try 15 diets to try to get it straightened out. And the process of that creates a whole new bag of worms. Their skin is blowing up. They're itchy. They're hot. They're shedding. They're, you know, inflamed internally. So their behavior is like wacky. And now you're trying to figure out, why is my dog like anxious all the time? I mean, this is just kennel cough. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we see it all the time. All the time. People come into our free community class. This is why we do the class, because there are so many people who are struggling and upset and really frustrated. They rescued a dog and now they have a catastrophe. It's like they bought a used car and now the car is broken down on the side of the road and needs a new transmission. They got what's the word? Oh God, come on, you know, when like a sleazy salesman, they got duped. Yeah, they got duped. I can bet you $100 they were in the little like meet and greet enclosure at the shelter, and the shelter's like, oh yeah, you're so sweet, she loves the ball. Who the fuck cares if she loves the ball? Is she gonna be like seizuring next week and I'm gonna be having to think about maxing my credit card out? This is the rehab hosed. Thank you, Jessica, hosed. They got hosed. Yeah, so any hoodle. I think it's really, Heather found a diamond. Yes, you did, Heather. Even though I thought I made a good match, Violet became a project. Yeah, and that's the other piece of it too, is that a lot of time hustled. I have a separate story I'll tell my insider scoop friends later, but remind me to tell you the story about my mom asking me for other terms for a man's parts, because this is a fucking hilarious story, but we're not going to talk about it on the live stream. Linda, you will love this one. Okay, so anyway, Heather, you're right. You bring up my last point I'll make today, which is that you can't. And I think we talked about this in the Facebook in the Facebook Live, in the Fix It Friday Live yesterday over at Home to Canine. Go check that one out. That was a great show yesterday because it was fast, short, very digestible, and very, very much something that applies to a lot of people. So, any hoodle. A lot of people get a dog comparing it to the last one. And so, Heather, that may or may not have been true for you, but this illustrated made me think about this. A lot of people will say, oh, I had the best German Shepherd ever when I was a kid. It was so amazing. I'm going to have a German Shepherd again as an adult. Not the same dog, and you are not the same person. So I talked about this yesterday on Fix It Friday, and I encourage you guys to grab that one. It was this 20th of July, in case somebody's watching this forever back, 20th of July, 2018. You can't make that comparison. You can't look for, oh, I'm going to adopt, this dog that looks like a lab pit mix that was the same as what I had when I was a kid, and I'm going to pull that one from the shelter because it's black and it's the same age, and oh my God, it has the same name and the little white spot on the chest. Oh, you're cruising for a bruising, friend, if that's how you make your selection. That ain't good shopping. You have to take stock of who you are at this stage in the game. You're not the same person you were when you had that dog as a kid. That dog was getting fulfilled in a different way. It had different experiences, and it was a different dog. You've got to do your work to look at the thing that is in front of you right now. You as you are right now, and that dog as they are right now, and what they need. You just have to. Even whether we're buying from a breeder or we're getting from a rescue, but particularly when we're getting a secondhand dog. Okay? Particularly when we're getting a secondhand dog. So, all right, guys, I got to wrap up and go. Thanks for hanging out with me. I just really wanted to throw my 2 cents in the ring on this whole topic. I think it's a really important one, and I appreciate my colleagues who are contributing to this message and conversation. It's crucial. We got to stand up for the reality of what we face on the backside of things here and help debunk a lot of the stereotypes and the myths that exist around this whole, yummy, emotional, heart-filled bullshit that is the rescue realm, because it's just, that's not the reality. And it's why it attracts so many broken people who burn out. A lot of them become so incredibly unhealthy. They aren't responsible for themselves, so how can they be responsible to the clients, adopters, and dogs that they serve? I see the dysfunction every damn day, and I know we can change the course of it, but not without some seriously hard work, and not without being uncomfortable, not without becoming more vulnerable about what we see and what we need to do. It's a human problem, not a dog problem, first and foremost. All right, gang. Yeah, totally, Jessica, totally. Good to see you today. Thanks for hanging out. Tandy reminded me, just put my girl on BioCell. Yay! Oh, that's awesome. It takes several months for it to really build up. So just know that you're not going to see the full effects until you get out a few months down the line. Same was true for me. It's made a world of difference with my shoulder recovery. So I'm really excited for you to see that, and I hope you'll report back and let us know. Hop in the lounge and tell us how it's going. It'd be great. I love the product. I'm a huge stand for what Modere can do. It's a great product. All right, guys. Thanks. Share if you think it's valuable to get ye old opinion out there, and I'm going to go play with some dogs, all right? Talk to you later.